So, uh, well, it's Tuesday, and yesterday was Monday, and every Monday, myself and my colleagues, Thomas, Tana, Con, we conduct a live car buying show, a car buying guide show. Basically, if you are in the market to buy a car, you come to our YouTube channels, because the live is broadcasted across all 4 YouTube channels, and also broadcasted in our Facebook, Horizon Facebook, and we just sit there for 3 hours giving people car buying advice. You can come in here and ask whatever car, whatever budget, and we usually would always ask, what car do you currently own, right? And what you're looking at to purchase, what are your options, and then we answer people, right? So we try to give them the best advice we could, and we will also ask if you are okay with buying used cars or must you buy new, based on the questions they ask, roughly what they do you have kids, things like that, right? Of course, it is not as interactive as I describe it to be, because it will be from the comments. People ask questions from the comments, and then we highlight them, and then we ask them. If we need further info, we'll ask them, can you further elaborate, and then if they heard what we're saying, they reply. That's the best scenario, right? And come on. Oh, you don't even signal, woman. Yeah, anyway. Actually, more men don't signal than women. Anyway. So yesterday there was a couple of interesting questions. One guy said, hi, I currently drive a Beza. Should I be buying an Activa? I'm thinking of buying an Activa. And I was like, no, look at this Honda Accord. Yeah, I asked him to buy this Honda Accord. So I said no. I tried to tell him that Activa is not an honest product. It may handle well, it may have enough power, it may look like an SUV, and then they claim it comes with radar cruise control, automatic braking, and all that. But as our experience shows, that when we drive even some Toyotas with these basic adaptive cruise controls, they don't perform really well. They don't perform really well. Most of them, even those from Proton, functions better than those from Toyota. Of the German brands, of course, they're good. The Korean brands are really good, and for Chinese brands, a lot of them are not good as well. As far as I've tested, those from Geely, probably because they work with, they own Volvo. Volvos are very good. They are adaptive cruise control, traffic jam assist, and all that. So naturally, the Proton X50, X70, those are good. The Korean ones are really good. Yeah. So I told him, I said, don't buy the Activa. You came from a Beza. Oh, there's a Beza in front of me. And the Activa I asked him to judge it this way. You look at the size of the Activa, you sit inside the car, is it that much bigger than a Myvi? It is not. And it is only a couple of inches higher. Is there a 4-wheel drive system? No. So what makes it price at 70,000 where the Myvi starts at 40 plus? Right? It is purely because of looking at the market, and there are no brand new SUVs per se at that price point. Hence, they push it into that price point because it is still cheaper than the Proton X50. But the Proton X50 is a proper car. It's comfortable. It handles well. It is well equipped. Everything is done well. Fit and finish is good and all that. So the X50 is a proper product. Just like the HRV is a proper product, the Subaru XV is a proper product. But the Ativa is not. It is merely a car the size of either an Axia or a Myvi on a couple of inches of stilts, and then they sell you at a surcharge of 20 to 30,000. Doesn't make sense. So I told him, don't get that. And I suggested for his budget, 60 something thousand, he can buy a 2020 or 2021 Subaru Forester, which is a proper SUV, proper four-wheel drive, big. The car is big, and yeah, in fact, his Bezza could have had more room than the Ativa. His boot space is larger than Ativa, right? So some people suggest, oh, Iris. I say Iris handles really well. It's a good car, but coming from a Bezza to an Iris, I call it a downgrade. Even though the Iris is more expensive, too many of you relate to cars based on the logo and the price point. But I don't see it that way. I see it as in, if you come from a bigger car, you go to a smaller car, that is a downgrade, right? If you come from an X70 and you go into a Mercedes GLA, you are downgrading. Even though the brand is higher, even though the Mercedes GLA is double the price of the X70, it is a downgrade. That's not to even say that the fit and finish of the X70 is better, the soundproofing is better, the build quality is better, right, than the Mercedes. So I asked him to get the Forester, and then another person was asking questions, and another person was asking the Proton Perdana, the one that is based on Accord, or the same year Accord. But the Perdana looks better, yes, but that Accord is crap. That is a crap Accord, right? And I look at the prices, they are like 27, 28,000. I say, no, don't buy that. It is a crap car. Perdana looks better, but it's based on a crap car. And the Perdana has those unique bumper, fenders, headlights and all that, that you will not be able to get spare parts down the road. It will be extremely difficult to get spare parts down the road, alright? It's like a one-off project where Proton gets some local suppliers to produce some parts that interact with Honda components, and that's about it, you know. So I asked him to get the next Accord, which starts at 32, 33,000, just a couple of thousand ringgit more, and that one is that is a wonderful Accord, the one that came after the Perdana Accord, or the Accord Dana, we like to say. And what else I remember last night? Some interesting questions. There's always the perennial question. Oh, there is another guy. I mean, he's a YouTube nickname. So he said he is 50 years old, retiring, and he has a retirement fund of 500,000 ringgit. And he was asking, he said that he knows that he's retiring now, and he's concerned with managing his retirement funds, but he's also worried that he also realized that he have not had fun all these years, and now he wanted something, you know, to relieve the times he missed. So he was asking if it is advisable to get a BMW Z4 2 liter, a 2020, I think, a 2020 or 2020 BMW Z4, which is the current generation Z4, the one shared with Supra, at about 250,000. So usually I will tell people that, yeah, it's a Z4, it's 250,000, it's not expensive, go ahead, right? I wanted to tell him that as well, but when I look at his, I think he's asking for a 2021. So I was thinking, from his questions, I can sort of decipher that the reason he picked 2021 is because he don't want a car that is too old. If it is too old, he may incur some maintenance costs, and If it is too new, it may be too expensive. So that's the balance that he sort of seek out, right? And he's a retiree. Sorry, my throat is damn dry. Let me take some lozenges first. I just realized, if I don't have my voice anymore, I can't work. I'm gone. Anyway. So, my advice to him is, I slowly decipher his need, right? So the first thing I can identify is that he wanted to have fun. He wants a car that fulfills his inner urge of, oh, I've worked all my life, I've never reward myself once, and I think it's time for me to reward myself. That's why he's looking at the BMW Z4. He's imagining the wind blowing in his hair, the smile that comes out, that feeling of, yes, I'm retired, I'm free now, and I want to enjoy my life. I want to get a car and join Evo Enduro, go driving with Bobby and his group and all that. I get it. But I break it down to, okay, when you are picking a newer car, it's because you're worried of maintenance. And the maintenance is not necessarily the downtime for him, because he's retired. He has all the time in the world to go into workshops, stand under his car, chat with the mechanic, and look around things. He has all the time for that. It is the money, right? It is the money. He's not sure whether suddenly will incur 5,000 or 10,000 or whatnot. He's worried about that. So I said, so let's break it down. You're not worried. The reason you pick a relatively new car is because you're worried of the money that might be spent. First year maintenance, second year maintenance, third year, so on and so forth. Then I told him, I'm sorry to tell you, if you were to buy a 2021 BMW Z4 now, in 2 years' time, the car will be worth 220. Later on, 190, 170, 150, and it should hold at 150, 140 for quite some time. And then later on, when the car is 10 years old, it will go to 100k or 90 something thousand, around that price point, and sort of stabilize there. Okay, I can project he's gonna lose 150,000 in the next 7 years. In the next 7 years. This woman, what the heck? She decided to overtake one car at the Smart Tech lane. Interesting. Anyway, let her be. So then I told him that your budget, 250,000, you can actually get a Porsche. You know, at best, a Boxster. Alright? Because these cars, they hold their value way better. Way better. Of course, he didn't look at Porsche, probably because for fear of maintenance. Right? The maintenance cost, because everybody think that Porsche, Ferrari, they are supercars, and probably it might involve higher maintenance than a BMW. Well, the good news is it is slightly higher, but it is not unreasonable. It is only marginally higher. However, the depreciation of a Porsche would have made back all the differences in maintenance. They hold their value. Of course, you have to pick one carefully. Don't simply go and buy a base Porsche Cayman with a lot of specifications at about 300,000 and then hoping it won't drop. No, Caymans, they drop in value. Okay, Caymans, they drop in value. Boxster, they drop as well, but depends on when you go in. When you go in to buy Boxsters. So I believe in the next few years, the Boxster 981 will fall below the 200k mark, pressed down by the 718. And in the long run, let's say 15 years later, probably the 981 would reverse and come back being on par or slightly higher than the 718 2 liter, right? Because of the naturally aspirated engine sound. But of course, the 718 drives a lot better. It looks similar to the 981, but it's of a different platform. In fact, the 718 platform was used to create the 992 911. A lot of people don't know that, right? So I told him to get a Boxster, or if he wanted to, even a 911, because it's a cash buy, 250,000. Cash buy, don't buy cars that you can get with loan. Get the exclusive ones that you don't need a loan. Actually, I should have asked him to go for the Aston Vantage, but that one is on a totally different ownership cost regime, because it's a 4.3 liter engine versus a 2 liter turbo or a 2.5 liter turbo. It's in the supercar category. Things are, of course, more expensive than Porsches. Yeah, but it is also a relatively reliable car. But it's a totally different thing, right? So I asked him to get a Porsche Boxster with his 250,000. Yeah. So it depends. Some people, I would say go for it. So I have to understand what their situation is. Now there's also another guy. This one very interesting. The whole night we just kept on saying sorry to him. So he said that he's driving. He bought his Porsche Panamera brand new back then from Porsche Malaysia. 2018, he bought a Panamera 4S. You can imagine how much that car is. Probably 800,000. And it's 6 years now. He's looking at another car to buy, and he's budgeting 600,000 to purchase that car. So offhand, immediately I can tell a Porsche Panamera 4S 2018, for used car dealers, they will probably take in the car at most 380,000 max. That's the price they will take in the car at. Probably 350. So he must be thinking that, okay, I sell off my car at 350, I top up another 250 grand, and I get myself another car, 600 grand. but all of us were silent, like eerie silence, because we couldn't come up with a car that is an upgrade to him, or a natural progression, or even a parallel progression that is around that price point, 600,000. Because, let's say, something luxurious and prestigious inside, right? The only thing better than a Panamera interior are Aston Martins or Bentleys or Rolls Royce, right? And he loves driving. Rolls Royce can't corner, for God's sake, alright? Bentley, yes, you can. And he needs 4 doors, right? Aston, you have the Aston Martin Rapide, which is only in resale market, alright? But the rear seats are borderline unusable compared to the Panamera. It is less practical than the Panamera. And Panamera is 2.9 liter engine. So the road tax is like what, 2,000 ringgit? The Aston is 15,000 ringgit. And the Panamera is not slow at all, right? The Aston is loud, sounds beautiful, interior is better built than the Panamera, but ultimately it is not a 4-door luxury sports car. The Rapide is a 4-door supercar, right? It's totally different. And in terms of usability, he's downgrading. He's downgrading if it is in terms of usability, right? It's not as infinitely usable like a Panamera. Panamera is you can use a Panamera like a 5 Series, right? Then there's the Bentley Flying Spur. The previous Flying Spur, which is called the Continental Flying Spur, you have to go to 2014. A 2014-2015 model year, still at 450,000. Too old for him. His current car is 2018, so no way he will buy a 2014 car. Same goes with the Aston Martin Rapides. But the new ones, the new Flying Spur, is way out of his budget. It's 1.5 million or 1.3 million. Same goes with the Aston. The replacement for the Rapide, the DBX, cheapest 1.5, 1.6 million. I'm talking about the 707. Of course, the 550, the DBX 550 is below that, but it's also about 900,000. And that car is not as good as the 707. No point buying the 550. The 707 in sports mode, sports plus mode, is more comfortable than the DBX in comfort mode. Can you imagine that? And it handles better, drives faster. It's just all round better. Okay. Then we were stunned. We were stunted. We were like, sorry, bro. There's no car for you to buy. Really, literally no car for you to buy. I mean, if you can fork out 1.2 million, you can get a used GTC 4 Lusso, right, from 2015. But a Ferrari versus a Porsche, he will pull his hair out when he, use it and realize the fit and finish is not there, the solidity, the electronics and all that is just no comparison. Even Astons are better built, way better built than, actually Astons are better built than Porsches in terms of fit and finish, interior fit and finish. Alright, I'm not talking about the absolute mechanical, uniformity and all that. So yeah, that was interesting. I'm still struggled now. Can anyone tell me, if you own a Porsche Panamera, a current gen, what can you buy? What? There's nothing. There is absolutely nothing for you to buy. Next. Yeah, I can't think of anything. I really can't think of anything. Yeah. So I guess he's stuck with his Panamera for quite some time. Yeah, literally nothing. AMG GT 463. Interior is built like shit. Handles like shit compared to a Panamera. M car? No. It came from a Panamera. Panamera is like the M without the M. Yeah. That's how good the Panamera is. You have nothing to upgrade to. Can you guys come up with anything? I can't. Yeah. Alright. So, I welcome you to ask any car buying questions. But come to our Monday live show. Alright? Cheers.